Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. And this is Yang Zhao, which is always difficult for me to say. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm a little nervous. I'm about to launch my Kickstarter campaign. You know, there's going to be 3 legs of my Heroic Tales comic to fund my comic, which it's still live, and you could go and fund my comic is going to be the home of my comic. You know, it when everything's done, it'll be still here. You can still get everything. When everything's done on Kickstarter, I'll put it on Fund My Comic. So that's going to be the home. They've been good to me, and I like them a lot. But I'm going to launch Kickstarter. I've never done Kickstarter before, so who knows? You
know, the one thing that really surprises me about Kickstarter is both Indiegogo and Fund My Comic have the what do they call it? In demand,
Yes.
But Kickstarter never got that.
Yeah,
seems like a wasted opportunity on their part.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, any way to keep the money flowing. You know what I mean? It's a business after all.
Well, that's the weird thing too, is you see a lot of people using like eBay or even like Pinterest and stuff as stores. So like, why wouldn't you want people to use Kickstarter as a permanent store? I mean, you're getting a cut of all that sweet money.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And is there anybody we could ask? You know,
I don't know. I'd love to get some Kickstarter people on my show.
I agree with Marcus. I like the idea of I pay for it, get it over with, get that impulse buy. You know, a few times I went to, you know, I kickstarted a couple of board games, and you know, I'm all in, and then 6 weeks later, all of a sudden I get hit for like $280, and either it just wasn't enough in my checking account at that time, or like the night before I regretted it. You know what I mean? Or my car blew up, and I was like, I got to drop this blitz. So I think Indiegogo. Here I am bad mouthing the platform I'm about to go on, but some people tell me it's the greatest. You got to go on it. You're stupid if you're not. Other people tell me it's a waste of time. We'll see. Hey, Piggy Mom, what are you doing? How you doing? How's it going? Thank you for, 19 people watching. But I'm gonna wait for a couple of minutes. I'll probably launch in a little bit. And while we're waiting to launch, anything you got any links or anything you want to share, Yang? Oh, by the way, I know I'm all over the place because I'm nervous. I apologize, everybody. But here is the link to join us. Here are the rules. I just like 4 people at a time, myself included, just because it looks nice. And more than that, we kind of step all over each other. So, you know, if the 5th person wants to come in, I'll ask if anybody is done. But you got any links you want to share?
Oh, yeah. I just put one in the private chat. EmpireoftheUndyingSun.com. That is my D&D 5th edition, 2014 5th edition campaign guide that I am going to launch on Kickstarter and on my own website, EmpireoftheUndyingSun.com. Be launching late September. Getting things squared away now. I've got final edits for most of the chapters at my editor right now, starting on a lot of the artwork, trying to nail down that website, which is being a real mother bear to get working right, but it's good. It's getting there. So it is.
Are you doing your own artwork? Do you?
I have some artwork. I have contracted out. I've got Peter Gilmore, who was just on your channel the other day.
Oh, Peter Gilmore, yeah. That guy just leveled up. I mean, I always liked his art, but he must have drank a potion and got like bigger.
Well, the best thing is the campaign guide is a horror campaign, and I mean, it's hard to get better than Peter Gilmore.
Yeah.
I've got him. I've got Rod Looper has done a bunch of art for me. And I have this guy, Angkor Kong, who is from Malaysia. And this guy is like some weird cross between sort of like a John Byrne with a Frazetta with like a smidge of anime in there.
There you go. That sounds awesome.
Thank you.
And is this the campaign that you play with your friends? You're the dungeon master for this?
Well, I've got so it's how to explain. So it was a one shot originally, and I played it, and it was just supposed to be the one afternoon. We were playing in somebody else's campaign, and for months after, people were asking me things about it, like, "Oh, well, why was this like this? Why was that like that?" And I was like, "Oh, maybe there's something here." And it's funny because I was on my way to make a comic about this when I decided, okay, I'm going to, I need to make a Bible because it's a fantasy genre. So like, what's the name of this town? What's that river? So I was making a Bible, and I was like, you know what? This would be so easy to turn into a campaign guide while I'm here. And 5 years later, I'm finally finishing it up.
There's something about comic book collectors. We're compulsive, D&D people. So you put that combination together. When I was in college, my buddies and I, we started out just playing Risk. Like the story I always tell is Thursday nights, for whatever reason, was the party night. We went to Stony Brook, and everybody who went to Stony Brook lived on Long Island, so they would go home for the weekends. And I'm like, the college is on Long Island. Why is everybody so we had parties on Thursdays, Friday and Saturday. It was like ghost town. So I'm like, I'm not going home. I didn't go away to college to go home every weekend. So Friday nights we started playing Risk, and then we started playing other games. And next thing you know, we're playing Dungeons and Dragons. So I'm like, I wrote a notebook. Like I had everything written down. What was in the wizard's pockets? How many material? I drew a map, and that was the only campaign I ever did from the beginning to the end. It was so satisfying. Oh, speaking of which, Paul was in here, but the Thursday night parties were epic. Paul was the wizard through Mander.
Sorry, but to answer your question before, I have done 2 test groups of the campaign. So I'm still working through test group number 2, just to make sure that the gameplay is a lot of fun. Been testing it since 2019. So 2019. So it's pretty well developed. Cool. But it's I try to get to the old school like themes and feeling of the old school game while using modern play mechanics.
Cool. My question that I want to ask is, could I be a pacifist orc in a wheelchair?
Sure. Yeah,
okay.
No problem. I don't know how long you last, but you do what you want.
What you say? You don't know if what?
I don't know how long he'll last, but you could do what you want.
That's what I said to somebody on Twitter. I said, yeah, you could absolutely be somebody in a wheelchair. Don't expect to get the second level, but yes, you.
Well, the other thing is, if you're going to be in a wheelchair, at level 1, you are not getting a super awesome magical combat wheelchair. You're getting a tree stump with 2 wagon wheels nailed to it. That's it. You have to work your way up.
You better hope you have a dwarven artificer in the group.
Yeah, no joke.
Okay, before I bring up my campaign or anything, I want to ask you one question. Are you strict with character classes? Like, this is Dungeons and Dragons, right? This isn't your own game that you make?
So far, it's Dungeons and Dragons. Maybe in the future, I'll create a rule system. But
okay, I don't know. I play a variant of a fantasy game using my homebrew villains and vigilantes, and I found that like my last group was having a hard time making fantasy characters because they wanted classes and rigid structures, and I was just like, being a thief isn't a class. A thief is a guy who steals things. So if you're researching magic spells and you steal things, you're a thief. You're a warrior. If you're a warrior, but you're going to spend all your points in intelligence and charisma, you're just a bad warrior. So I be whatever you want, but when you get experience points, you train and you go up in whatever you want. So design yourself as you go. And they just had the hardest point. I don't know. I might try it again this Sunday. Matter of fact, Dave is in my group Sunday. We're going to play. I think we're going to play superheroes because
thanks, Dave.
Yeah. Dave is the D&D dungeon master in our group. I haven't played with him yet. And I've only killed one of his characters, Dave. Didn't mean to.
Well, the funny thing is, in the original D&D, there wasn't a thief class. It was just like you said, you were somebody who stole stuff. You were a fighter, a cleric, or a magic user.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Like, you're a wizard or a sorcerer or a warlock or just I don't know. I could get into it. A sorcerer is somebody who taps into sources of magic. So to me, a cleric is also a sorcerer because their source would be a divinity. So a cleric would be a sorcerer who taps into a source being a divine being. And a druid would be a sorcerer that taps into like nature or something like that.
Yeah, I kind of disagree because if you're talking about like.
Don't you know you can't disagree on the internet? That means we're enemies forever.
I know. But well, we'll get some drama fame for it or something.
Oh, there you go.
But you know, for a regular wizard, it's kind of like arcane magic. It's almost like rules of science and nature, and you're able to bend them. Whereas if there's divinity involved, then it's more like you're getting those powers, but you also have to do something for it. Whereas there's no quid pro quo for like arcane magic. So
Okay.
to me, that's the difference.
Okay. It all makes sense. You know, I mean, once somebody explains it, like like if I'm big into etymologies, like if the word warlock, if you break it down, the root is an oath breaker. So I was like, oh, okay. So a warlock is an oath breaker. So I was thinking of a sorcerer, a being that binds with the source. Like in my thinking, to be a sorcerer, you're using a source for magic, and you make a deal with that source. It doesn't necessarily mean you worship it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's when you cross into like a cleric or a priest. But if you're a sorcerer and I'm tapping into Yang Zhao and you're my sponsor for my sword, and then I betray your interest, I've become a warlock. You know what I mean? So I'm an oath breaker.
Interesting.
You're like a cursed magic user. But anyway, Dave now, who hasn't played my fantasy games, knows too much about my rules. So I'm going to bring up my Fund My Comic campaign. This is still active. Luke Stone has been good to me. I do not want to shut this down. So this will be my home base. This is going to be like where I return to for everything. So this is still active. And I don't know what's been going on this week. I've been getting a bunch of backers. So I just want to say thank you to anybody. And as soon as Mark Millar followed me today on Twitter, a couple of people backed. I guess, I got the big man on campus eye looking at me. But I figured I'd just show you this so you can see the difference between this campaign and the Kickstarter campaign. So first off, we got the Renzo's artwork cover right over here. Oh, let me make it bigger. I just realized you can't really see it. So this is the standard cover right over here. Okay, that's better. This is Renzo Rodriguez. He's the interior artist. Great guy. This is his cover. So this will be available no matter what platform I go to. This is the standard cover. This is the Pat Broderick cover. For those of you who don't know, Pat Broderick is a veteran comic book artist, one of my favorite comic book artists. This will only be available on Fund My Comic. So that's why I want this to stay active, because if you're interested and I saw another cover, I want to get, let's be realistic. It's a business. I got to be able to pay the bills. This is the back cover by Renzo. This, to me, I wanted an image that encapsulates everything about the patriarch, the hero, the patriarch. This is his family. These are his children. This is his wife down here. This is his farm. This is why he's a superhero, to protect his family, and he has power, so he protects the world. And here are some wonderful interior art by Renzo. This is the first 5 pages. This was the first page he drew, just to make sure that he had the character right. Oh man, it was so cool seeing your character drawn by a professional. It was so cool. And then just some more pages. I think the first 6 pages is the coin. I actually got the coins now, finally. I was so nervous that they weren't going to get here in time, but the coins are here, the pint glasses are here. And then I got 2 of the 6 cards, but I realized I need a 7th card because there's another character, the main villain. I didn't make a card for the main villain, so I take it back. There's a backup story drawn by Ron Mosicki and colored by Oscar Carreno. That has the villain the origin of a villain who'll be a bigwig in the next couple of issues. So that card will be debuted. So I wanted to show all of this. All right. Now let me. I was looking at that, so let me see if there's anything in the chat. Sorry, I'm nervous, guys. John, can't wait to read it. The artwork looks great. Yeah, the artwork is so good. When I saw Renzo, I was like, I got to work with this guy. Hey, happy launch campaign. Thank you. Oscar is the colors for the backup story. And I'm talking with somebody else about, a side book that I think Oscar would be perfect to draw. So that depends on whether the other person wants to work with me, if we can work out some details, and if my comic is successful or not. The Kickstarter link, I'll be throwing that up in a minute when I launch. I'm just building up. Okay, we got 40 people. We got 40 people. How about we launch the Kickstarter? So, all right, I'm going to close this. I will go to Kickstarter, and let's hope this works. I never did a Kickstarter before. This would be really fun if I launched the Kickstarter, hit the button, and it just didn't work. So let's go here. All right. So I'm gonna exit the preview. Okay, so this is the button. I'm just making sure you see that says ready to launch. I never did this before. Maybe my computer will explode. Maybe we'll all get transported to Jupiter, and maybe the Kickstarter will actually launch. So here we go. I'm going to hit it. Ready to launch. I read these. Actually, let me actually read them before. Okay, launch project. Drum roll. There we go. It is now live. Kickstarter is live. If I will put this link in the chat. Okay, that was. I was actually very nervous, guys. Maybe I'll calm down now and be able to talk properly. But I was very nervous. So there you go. The link is in the chat. If I could get a couple of you fine people in the chat to put the link on Twitter for me while I talk here. But I'll show you the differences in the campaign. So obviously I had zero money. That makes sense. We just launched. I'll show you some of the differences. Then I'll show you the trailer. So we have Renzo's cover. That's, like I said, that is the standard cover that's going to be on every campaign. People were asking for a black and white edition. So give people what they want. You know, if they want a black and white edition, I'll give them a black and white edition. So you can get that too. Other people were asking for the back cover as the front cover, you know, and at first I was like, just put it in the bag and board the other way. Then I'm like, you know what? Give the people what they want. So if you want this, you can get the back cover as the front cover. And then here's Michael T. Gilbert, the debut of he's the artist of Mr. Monster, one of my favorite comic book artists, one of my favorite comic book characters, and just a classic. So he's just having a fun time with it's kind of an homage to an old Superboy comic. So I just love that. I got the original art hanging up in my comic book room. That is just so much fun. And this is going to be the Kickstarter cover. So, you know, this is the only place to get this now. And look, he put a little Mr. Monster on his son. And then you've seen these art pages before. So same deal. We're going to have a $6 digital, $10 for the main cover, $10 for the variant cover, the Gilbert cover, $10 for the dad cover, $10 for the main inked, you know, black and white edition, $20 for the pint glass and that, and $20 for the pint glass and the Gilbert, $20 for one of each, $25 for three of each, $25 for three of each, $25 for one copy of each and a pint glass. That's the best deal you're gonna get there. And there you go, guys. Like I said, this is I'm going to include the stretch goals. I'm getting everybody dizzy by scrolling this fast, but I just want to get down to the cards. So I have 2 of the cards unlocked, and we are so close. I'm going to combine both campaigns. So for every $1,000 on going forward, combining with Fund My Comic and Kickstarter, and then later on Indiegogo, which I'll have another exclusive cover by Mike Gustovich, another card will be unlocked to the point where there's going to be 7 cards. All right. Not the best salesman in the world, but you guys ready to see the trailer? We'll show the trailer.
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm going to make this big. Oh, it is big already? Okay. Like I said, I'm nervous. That was cool. That was made by Phantasmagoria. So I'm just excited to see that. So there you go, guys. Let's check out the comments. Oh, I just got a backer. Thank you. I don't want to say out anybody's names. Don't want to embarrass anybody. Here you go. We got Dave, Pityma, Derail says nice. And here we go. Next stop, Netflix. Oh my God. You dance with the one that brought you. Watch, the patriarch will be played by like a lesbian midget or something like that.
It'll be like a lesbian in a wheelchair or something.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll get to the Netflix when it's time to cross that. But I'm going to leave this up as the image because I don't know.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh yeah. We got 42 people watching. Thank you. Do you guys in the chat, are you familiar with Michael T. Gilbert? He's been on my channel before. He's a real quirky, fun guy. Oh my God. He's like very wry sense of humor. He's been in comics forever. Turns out we grew up in towns next door to each other. He's a little older than me, but he's a Long Islander in Nassau County, like grew up like 10 miles away from me. And so he has that Long Island sarcastic humor that I really like. And he drew Mr. Monster, a character that I just absolutely love. Think of Mr. Monster as a more humorous version of Hellboy or something. It's just so good. It's just so good. Netflix quality is just so variable. And guys, the link is in the chat. If anybody wants to join us and talk, the link is in the chat. Just jump in. So,
well, I believe you might have a guest come on who has a good deal with Netflix. Maybe you should send him a copy as a thank you.
We'll count those chickens when they actually hatch. This will be the second time Mark Millar said he was coming on my channel. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I woke up today to see that Mark Millar, the creator of comics like Kick-Ass, Wanted, the Kingsman, that movie, he started following me and then said he would come on my channel. So I've been talking to him all day, but time differential, he had to go to bed. He lives in Scotland. So I've been like hyperventilating all day. So what a great day. I wake up, Mark Millar's talking to me, and my comics is going to launch. So, somebody said, what would you talk about? I said, are you kidding me? Mark Millar and I could talk for 2 hours about Superman alone. He's the only person I know who's a bigger Superman fan than me. The only thing I hate more than quirks is fun. Okay. Hit the like button. So I just checked on my phone to make sure that I'm not shadow banned or anything. Right now I'm the number 2 campaign on Kickstarter. Comic books. I mean, it just launched seconds ago.
Well, to me, it'd be really interesting to see how it does long term on Kickstarter, just for the simple fact that you for both Fund My Comics and Indiegogo, you have very small groups of users, but very, very motivated, and they love comics and they're willing to open their wallets to comics.
Yes.
Kickstarter, they have like their own separate group of users who I'd say are not nearly as passionate about it overall. However, it's a way larger pool to draw from. So, there's tons of books that only fund on Kickstarter and they make good money. So I want to see, I'm very interested in seeing like how much crossover there is and how much, like the only thing with Fund My Comic and Indiegogo is you pretty much have to bring your own audience there. They don't have their own native audience, but Kickstarter does.
Right.
So I'm curious to see how.
Me too.
Many
this is all an experiment. I'm pretty good with managing my expectations. You know what I mean? So I tell myself things are going to be bad, so I only get pleased. You know what I mean? And I've had people that said they would only promote me if I was on Kickstarter. I've other people said they would only promote me if I was on Indiegogo. Some people said they're never going to go to Fund My Comics. Some people said I'm only going to go to Fund My. So it's that old adage: you can't please everybody, and if you try to please everybody, you end up pleasing nobody. So I'm just doing what I got to do, guys. I'm a simple comic book guy. I just want to.
You've got 3 backers already.
Oh, let me refresh. This is exciting, guys. I launched on Michael. Oh yeah, 3 backers. I'm just gonna hit the refresh button. Hope it doesn't give out 3 backers. Wow, thank you guys.
And $120 too. That's pretty good.
Yeah. It's happening so fast. I can't keep track. Yeah, Jimmy Palmiotti only backs on Kickstarter. Like I said, so to me, I think it's I'm trying to parse my words not to hurt anybody's feelings, guys. This is my philosophy about the internet. Unless I know it's in bad faith or I take everything in the best possible light. So please, if I misspeak, but I just don't understand how each platform only has fans. Like there's people who are only fans of Kickstarter, and there's people who are only fans. To me, it's like I'll go where the good burger is. If the good burger's over there, I'll drive to that part of town to get the good burger because I'm a slob and I like burgers. And if that part of town has the good burgers, I'll go there. I backed on Kickstarter. I've got some really good comics, notably Jimmy Palmiotti's. I've got some great comics on Indiegogo, and obviously I got some wonderful comics on Fund My Comics. So I'll go where the good comics are. But I'm starting to think I'm the only crazy person that does stuff like that. Yes, my OnlyFans. The funny thing about my OnlyFans, it's pictures of fans. So you'll see me with my fan blowing in my beard. You'll see what little hair I have left wallowing in the breeze. So there you go, Dark Alchemy. I'll give you the secret. That's it. I'll give you the secret. Anybody who backs in the next 20 minutes gets the secret link to my OnlyFans. Watch. All of a sudden, it's going to go -3 backers. So, yeah, you haven't. Your campaigns haven't gone live yet, so you don't have any, stories to tell of which one is best.
Not yet. Just keeping my eye on for the last 5-6 years and talking to people. Of course, I've always had a lot of Comicsgate people on, but I've also had people outside of Comicsgate who have gone the more traditional Kickstarter route, and just my own sort of market research on who's doing what. And I'm with you. Look, I can understand why like a John Malin or your boy Zach wouldn't want to go on Kickstarter.
Right. They have a personal reason that I expect, to the point. If I don't mean to interrupt you, but I was one of your boy Zach's insiders back when he started, and I email him and talk to him every once in a while. I emailed him today, said, I'm going to go on Kickstarter. Is there a problem? Do you have any problem with that? And he didn't respond. So full disclosure, I tried to get the nod from the Godfather.
But for me, it's like if I had people who, if for whatever reason my project appealed more to Kickstarter, great, I'm going to Kickstarter. If I'm not getting any response there and it's all Fund My Comic, then that's where I'll go. I mean, the big thing is when you're a small creator, you got to go wherever that takes you. If that means you got to schlep your butt to a different con every weekend in the summer, then that's what you got to do.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, because right now I don't have a comic by hand. Full disclosure, we are waiting on the last 5 pages to get colored. My colorist Daniel's father just had open heart surgery. Ooh. He lives in Brazil, and he said he's 200 miles away from his home computer because he's with his dad in the hospital. So, once we get those last pages colored, I'll get it lettered. That lettering doesn't take too long, and we're basically done. To the point Renzo is, I think, on page 7 of issue number 2, and Jose Garcia is doing the variant cover for issue 2, and Josh Howard is also doing a variant cover for issue 2, because issue 2 is going to have 2 covers for each character. So there you go. So we're chugging along. And Renzo has made a promotional poster already for issue number 3, because I was just so excited about this. I get excited. I'm like, Renzo, stop what you're doing and draw this. And he's like, oh, that's cool. I know. I got the beautiful dad cover and the homage with the 2 coins. Not going to miss out on those coins. Yes, just proof of here's the coins. The coins are here already. The coins are here in my hand. And oh my God, they told me it was going to take 45 to 60 days. It took 6 months. So I'm talking with another coin person for issue number 2. If they could do what they said, because I have until the 18th for it, to deal with the other people. If they can't do it, I'm gonna order the coins for issue number 2 right now. So I realized I got to give them 7 months leeway. I was so nervous. I was like, guys, I got people buying these coins and they're not here yet. And I don't know if they shipped it because I was so angry. Sank said recently he doesn't care about people going to Kickstarter. The same bad apples don't even work there anymore.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree.
Well,
Family
that was the thing.
Yes, I want to make myself clear. I'm not upset. Daniel, if you're watching, or Oscar, if you know Daniel, Daniel's also the same colorist for David Brink doing Genuine Karma. Family comes first, absolutely. All kidding aside, it's a comic book. Take care of your dad. You'll get it. You'll get it. Daniel's been apologizing to me. I'm like, what are you apologizing for? Take it. My dad had a heart attack, went to the hospital. Totally understand. How many issues would be a dream goal? Do you have a multi-issue story? Yes, I have, no kidding, 20 issues plotted in various stages of script. I have 3 issues scripted, but I had to change a couple of things because I'm it's evolving as I go. I'm changing the format. This was my original concept of the comic, and then I realized I was making a mistake. I'm not above learning and getting feedback. It was going to be, the name of the comic is called Heroic Tales, not the Patriarch. So every issue was going to have whatever story I wanted to tell. I have a whole world of superhero characters and wizard characters and alien characters. So, but then people start saying issue 2 is not going to have the Patriarch, but I love the Patriarch. I like the concept. I like the idea of the fall. And I started to think, am I having a Richard C. Byron moment, or I'm going to kill the Jawbreakers in the first issue? So I heard what people said, and I agree. So going forward, it's going to be a flip book. It's going to have the Heroic Tales featuring the Patriarch. The Patriarch is the flagship character. He will be in every issue going forward, and then you flip it over and it's going to have another character with another story that I would like to tell. So issue number 2 is going to debut Mary Sue, and Renzo's, like I said, 7 pages into the Mary Sue story. Jose Garcia is doing the cover for the Patriarch story. Oh my God. It's just the rough pencils right now. I can't wait. He's so quick. I hired him like 2 days ago, and he's already said it'll be done by tomorrow. Guys, Jose Garcia, his mother's in the hospital. So he put out a general call for work. So I said, I was going to hire him anyway, but his mom's in the hospital. So I said, right away, boom. And he's doing a variant cover. So
Nice.
I'm excited. I could talk forever. I realized I'm not giving any time to talk. Go ahead, talk while my throat recovers.
Well, I was going to say that who made the comment? Griff first mentioned that Zach said it's okay now, and yeah, it was a year or 2 ago when Kickstarter people were trying to unionize. So Kickstarter just did mass layoffs. I think they blamed it on COVID or something. So I think that's probably true. And then you have the same thing as like Patreon. Patreon was really pissing people off, canceling people left and right. And they axed a lot of people too. A lot of the people who were, complaining about who was on Patreon. So I think both companies now really like money. And I don't know why, but I trust people who like money more.
Oscar, is this what you were asking? Because this is the back, this is tails, and this is heads. This is my idea for the coin. I'm big on symbols for the superheroes, so I would like to have every issue that debuts a superhero to have a coin with that symbol. So the next coin will say Heroic Tales, and it'll have Mary Sue symbol. So is that what you're asking, Oscar? And then we got Empire of the Undying Sun.
Thank you,
Renzo
Marcus.
must work 20 hours a day. I know Renzo is working on 2 other books that I know of. He's working with Aaron Sparrow. He's doing I don't quite understand what he's doing. I think he's doing like a treatment for like a big deal. So I keep joking, Renzo, when you're big and famous, don't forget about me. And he's also working on Thomas Valiant for RJ of the Fourth Age, and working
Nice.
for, you know. And we are way ahead of schedule, guys. And a couple of creators got mad at me. You're not supposed to do the book before the Kickstarter. Well, I didn't know that, you know. But then again, this isn't my full-time job. My full-time, I paid for this out of savings. Oh, the face. Oh, you want me to put the patriarch's face? Oh, okay. Like I said, I'm open to all suggestions.
You know, I hear that a lot from certain creators, like you're not supposed to make the book before you do the Kickstarter. But man, you know, these days you got to stand out from the pack, you know, and to have a book that's gonna be able to be shipped not too long after the campaign ends. I mean, that's a big bonus in a realm where, you know, it's questionable. Are you actually going to get the thing you backed or not?
Yeah, I plan on you know, the book should be done now in the next, by the end of the month. The book should be done. Now I just got a pre-press guy. We were talking about prices and all the things that he's going to do. And then it's just dealing with the printer. Now, the question that I'm still mulling over is, I gave myself an arbitrary limit whether I was going to hire RJ from the Fourth Age, not RJ from Critical Blast to do fulfillment. Mm-hmm. So I would love to hire RJ from Critical Blast to do fulfillment. That means I have a lot of orders. So far, I think I could do it all. You know, maybe I'm naive, but let's get RJ from Critical Blast some work, guys. Dark Alchemy, you're asking why not? I didn't understand the question. Why not to what? What's in the box? What's in the box? Which box? The box above my head? This is the mother box from Jack Kirby's Fourth World. Suggestion: make the Patriarch digital avatar model that you could talk through.
That would be awesome.
It's funny because somebody was joking around, goofing around, saying, "Is the Patriarch my self insert?" And I was like, no, it's an homage to all the dads out there. So he's got the beard, he's got 7 kids, you know, he's got a loving wife, and you know, he's a farm. He's not my self-insert. The joke that I've been seeing, and it's going to be a long payoff, because in issue number 3, there's going to be not a private detective. There's going to be a detective named Augie Carmichael, and that's who my self-insert is. So just remember that when you read it and you see Augie Carmichael, you're going to be like, you don't think too highly of yourself, do you? Hey, John, do you want some Gemini mailers? I have about 6 or 7. It's funny that you should say that, because every comic that I back, I've been saving the Gemini mailer. So that'll be a game. When you get my comic, let me know. Did it say like 9 Lives Comics on it? Did it say, you know, all caps comics on you know, the original sticker? Because they're in perfectly good shape. Why not? And if I could save myself $1, I could save myself $1. Why not make the book before? Oh, okay. That's what I thought you were asking. This is what I was told. And again, everybody's got a different perspective, and nobody's wrong and everybody's right at the same time. Is if you're a full-time artist, you can't spend 6 months making a comic book and then put it on Kickstarter and it flops. You'd lose your house. So I totally understand that, and I respect that, and I have no arguments with anybody. But I'm not a full-time artist. So I took money out of my savings. I worked some overtime, and I put money aside every week to pay Renzo, to pay Oscar, to pay Nick Axe, and all the people that are working with me. So, and to my way of thinking, what we're doing right now in a very real sense is kickstarting issue number 2. I'm hoping that I could roll over. Like, I'm taking issue number 1, everything on the arm. I'm paying for it out of pocket, shipping, delivery, flatting, whatever. I'm paying for out of pocket. And then that money that I collect, I'm hoping I never have to spend any more money again to do the next issue. That's what I'm thinking. Am I wrong? Am I crazy? Am I naive? Yes, I am all of those things. But let's hope that it works out.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing too is, as a creator, if you can order work from people. Like you can order the art, order the colors, and you can pay them right away. Guess who those people are going to come to right away next time? They have to prioritize different jobs. They're going to prioritize you because you actually held up your end of the deal and you're not making them late on their rent. So,
Oscar,
if you can swing it.
Oscar told me something today. Oscar Carano, my colorist, who, by the way, is available for work, and he's a professional guy, super quick. I hope I'm not telling too many tales out of school, but he said that he likes working for me rather than Marvel or DC because I pay faster and more.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually got a little upset by that. I'm like, how the hell, excuse my language, how am I paying more than Marvel and DC? I'm a jerk down here reading comic books, and I'm paying more than Marvel and DC. I can understand faster because I understand they got scheduling and an accounting department, and they got the machines and the mills of the gods, and everything is on account. That I could get, but more. So Oscar, I hope I didn't say anything I shouldn't have said, but I found that actually depressing because
Sure.
Oscar will send me the colors. I'll look at it and I'll be like, okay, this is good. Put it in the file. Boom, you paid. Or Oscar, this is the color. This looks good. Can you change this? And as he's changing it, boom, paid, because I know he's going to fix it. We have no problem. I hired one guy that I shouldn't have hired. No names. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. We worked it out. No feelings. But I won't be doing that. Okay, Oscar, good. I was hoping I wasn't. Sometimes I say things in my excitement that I probably shouldn't say. So good. And Oscar, again, I have a story that I'm working on right now. I'm trying to hash out the details with another creator, and Oscar is going to be one of the artists and the colorist for that. But I got to be realistic. I got to make money, and the other guy has to want to work with me. The comic industry is getting bad if indies pay more than you to. I don't even consider myself indie yet. Once you have a comic book in your hand, I'll be an indie comic book creator. Right now, I'm a guy with a dream. So a guy with a dream is paying more than Marvel and DC. Now I'm starting to feel good because, who wants to be a bad boss?
Yeah.
Well,
and it's better if you're the guy that pays well, right?
Yeah. One of the things. Oh wow, 5 backers. Thank you guys. So much fun. Thank you. I'm a construction worker, and we just have this thing. It's you pay your workers. A couple of shops, I know for a fact one of my brother's friends opened up a shop, a construction business. And the hardest thing in the world is getting money from the customers. Like when you break ground and you're starting to build a home, you're not going to get paid for 3 months. So the owner of the business is laying out the money. And it's a lot of money to hire a bunch of construction workers. You know what I mean? So he was telling me 3 times in his career of owning that business, he mortgaged his house to fund payroll. And he just said that. He goes, you pay your workers. He goes, it's a sacred trust. These guys are working for you. These guys have lives. These guys have bills. He goes, they don't want to hear. And he goes, the one thing that drove him crazy is they would hear him like, "Oh, Rich, he was the owner of the business. Yeah, Rich is the owner, man. That guy is, he's just a money pit." And he goes, "Me and my wife are contemplating divorce because I'm putting a 3rd mortgage on the house to pay these guys." So that always stuck into my head. You pay your workers. So if I may pat myself on the back, I pay my workers. And I don't even consider them workers. These are my partners. Like if the patriarch explodes and gets a Netflix deal, and Renzo says, "Don't forget me when you're a millionaire." I said, "Renzo, if I'm a millionaire, you're a millionaire." Yeah. I'm almost Definitely. All the pay 3 a month. Yeah. Like I said, I can understand that. But Oscar hands in some stuff. Oscar's paid within seconds. That's because I don't want a bill over my head. Who wants a bill? The only thing I forget to pay is freaking car payment, tickets. I just got hit with $400 worth of tickets because I forgot about them.
Well, in New York, I can imagine.
Oh my God! These light tickets are just you go going 41 miles an hour and it's 35 and you get a ticket. Oh my God! It's hard to drive. It's hard to drive the speed limit.
Those are becoming more and more illegal across the US. There was one company, I can't remember what the name was, but they're one of the biggest camera sellers, and they found out that they were intentionally timing them wrong because they got to collect a portion of the fee, which legally you shouldn't be able to do. Legally, whoever sells the camera shouldn't also be able to collect money on it.
Conflict of interest. Yeah. I also read that somebody's been suing them because, according to I forget which amendment it is, that you have the right to face your accuser.
Yeah.
So how do you face a traffic camera?
Exactly.
It's hard to go exactly the speed limit. I know, especially when you got some guy in front of you that's just creeping along, and then all of a sudden it opens up, boom, and that's boom. So I forgot about it. It was 2 tickets, and I just forgot about it, and I forgot about it. And why am I talking about this? But then there was a letter from the New York State Tax Authority, and I'm like, I'm not opening it. It's a tax bill. It's a property tax bill. I'm not opening it. And then finally, after sitting on my desk for 3 weeks, I opened it. It was a refund of $800. I got overtaxed. I was like,
wow.
So it was really only $400 because I had to spend 4 of it to pay those freaking tickets. Why am I talking about this? I'm nervous. That's why, guys. The others are total scams. Like Opus, the owner fee, owe me like $3,000. I guess dollars. A lot of artists in this. Oh my God. I don't know what to say, guys. Again, my corner of the internet has been nothing but a pleasure. I've had 2 freaks, but I guess I consider myself lucky with only 2 freaks. If you hire someone, you pay them, and you pay them quick. These guys, Renzo's got children. I tell Renzo, find other work too. Like, I would feel so guilty if my comic bombs, and he turned away work. Renzo's got kids, and he's a great artist.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things is
good idea.
Oh, yeah.
Marcus, could you pin this? Because I don't think I can do it in StreamYard.
No. You'd have to go into the actual.
Afraid to touch it. If Marcus is still around, could you pin the Kickstarter?
Yeah, but just in general business terms, which unfortunately making books is a business, even though it's something we all love, but you have to have that reputation, and right. If you have the reputation where your guys always get paid and on time, it's going to pay dividends for you maybe years from now when, you could be, maybe the guy you hired is the next John Romita Jr. or something.
Yeah.
He's going to remember when you hooked him up when he was rolling pennies to buy bulk rice.
Right. We're only as good as our reputation. You know what I mean? And indie comics is a small scene. Like, I think I developed a reputation as a likable guy, a fun guy, and I'd like to think fair, and now I'm trying to develop as a good guy to work with, and then I'd like to also develop as the guy who delivers on time, and then the guy who makes a good comic. There's a lot of things I'm trying to develop a reputation for. I was about to say something I shouldn't say. I also said on Twitter today that when you start drama, you realize you're also dragging your partners. So, like, if you're going to pick a fight with big name guy number 6, and then next thing you know, people are like, I'm not buying your book. You're putting your, unless you do everything, God bless you, do whatever you want. But if you got a writer, an artist and a colorist and a letterer, you're affecting them. So treat it like a business. As much as we want to mouth off to people, this is a business, guys. So you have to get going.
Yes, I Friday evenings at 9:00, I am on the Dungeon Delvers channel where we play classic Gamma World.
Okay, that sounds fun. Classic Gamma World.
Yes, for anyone who doesn't know, Gamma World is. Sorry.
Are you running the game, or are you a character?
I am not. This guy, the Dungeon Delver, his real name is Bill Sylvie. He used to work for Gary Gygax writing modules.
Oh, wow.
So he runs the game on his channel. I am a character at the moment. I am playing a fat mutant cat who is also a communist.
Oh, there you go. So you're the bad guy.
I'm on my way.
Yeah, we used to play Gamma World. For those of you who don't know, Gamma World is like a Dungeons Dragons type game, but it's a sci-fi setting in like a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
So if you got to go, you got to go. Remember, guys, the link
Sorry.
is in the chat. Thank you for showing up, man. One of my favorite people to talk to.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me. Congratulations. You got 5 already in less than an hour. You're on your way, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, good night, everyone.
I don't think it's time to answer this, but you're saying how's classic different from contemporary Gamma World?
I don't know. I haven't really played that much. There are some differences. Like in classic, you could be just a regular human like you or I, and usually you end up with like mech suits and stuff. You can be a mutant, so you'll get special superpowers. And the mutant could be a mutant human, or it could be some kind of animal. But I know in later editions, you can also play as a mutant plant. So if you ever wanted to play Treebeard, there you go.
There you go. I played a mutant hippopotamus guy. So he was a big
nice.
Yeah. And then we played a team of pure strain humans who hunted mutants. We were the bad guys. We were fascists. But I don't want to keep you here. I don't know if you're starting in 4 minutes or not. So I can talk and keep people trapped. So I'm sorry. So thank you for coming. And here's the link.
Thanks for having me.
Else wants to join in, and come back anytime you want, especially when you're launching your comic.
I will be back.
Yes.
All right. Bye-bye. Good night.
So it's just me now talking about my campaign on Kickstarter. Here's the link if anybody wants to join in and talk. I will say this, Pete, my work partner, are you in the crowd? And also keep in mind, the Fund My Comic is still active as I eat a French fry. So anybody? Bueller? I don't know what to say now. Anybody want to ask questions? Anybody want to talk? We got 44 as I choke eating a French fry. Anybody? Yes. What? Yes, you want to come in? If you want to come in, here is the entrance. Come on in, click in. The rule is 4 people at a time, but that looks like that's not going to be a problem. Took me a minute to load up the live. Am I transmitting fine? Is the sound good? I actually ordered another webcam because for my Sunday comics, which I do on Sundays, and then for my Two Beards One comic, which I do with Kelsey Shannon, I've been using my phone as the second. And for the last couple of videos, it's been out of focus and a little hesitation. So I ordered another webcam. Let's see if that'll alleviate that problem. Also, maybe tomorrow night I might do It's Clobbering Time. It's Clobbering Time is another little show I like to do where we take 2 characters and not just see who would win in a fight, but just like talk about the first time we did it, we talked about Batman versus Moon Knight. And of course there was Batman would win, Moon Knight would win, but it's more than that. We'll talk about the characters themselves, is like who's more of an interesting character, who had the high points of the character, the low points of the character, things like that. And then of course we end with who would win in a fight. And my conclusion was, in the situation like Secret Wars where they just teleported in, Moon Knight would beat Batman, especially with his enhanced strength, but then Batman would regroup and mop the floor. But to me, that would also make a more dramatic story. Just think about it. The first time Batman meets what he thinks is a new villain, he loses, gets the information, gets his druthers, and takes him out. How many cameras do you use? I use this one camera that I'm pointing to right here, and then I use my iPhone 11. I started out using this phone, and then I got this webcam, and then I figured out how to hook the bolt up without making that horrible echo sound. So I'm hoping when I get the second webcam, I could hook it up in a similar system without a horrible echo sound, because this camera is always crisp, and the phone, when I put it on the comic, it doesn't seem to be focusing properly the last couple of times. Love Kelsey Shannon's artwork. Like to see him do the Jawbreakers again. Yeah, Kelsey is phenomenal. Great colorist. fun guy. I enjoyed Kelsey. You know, he came on my channel and we just chewed the fat for an hour and just hit it off. And that's when I was like, I was busting his chops because he didn't read the Jim Starlin's Warlock. So he was like, I'll come back and we'll talk about it. And that started the whole Two Beards, One Comic, which is, you know, my favorite thing that I do on my channel. It's just so much fun. So much fun. The Gilbert, the Lemonade one cover is charming. Yeah, it's so much fun. It's different, and I could see like it's more for us oldie. What's that?
I like it.
Oh, my wife likes it. It's more fun, and you know, I just love it because Michael T. Gilbert is a humorous, fun guy. Charming is a good word for it. And Marcus says he'll join. You'll have no. That's fine. That's fine. Looks like the chat behaves himself. So come on in. Come on in. The water's fine. Give my voice a rest. So yeah, I discovered Kelsey Shannon, his artwork on the Red Circle Archie comics. Archie did the Red Circle like the Mighty Crusaders, and I think it only lasted 4 issues. And I remember back then reading those comics, going, if I ever make a comic, this is the art that I want. So someday I would love to work with Kelsey on a project. The mysterious Mrs. Longbox on stream. Now she's over here. We're eating our Wendy's because I knew I was going to be on tonight, and it's real hot upstairs. The air conditioner. I bought an air conditioner last summer and it died, so we're getting a new air conditioner while I'm saving up for a central air in the house. So down here, I got a split unit over here. It's glorious down here. Who was asking me if I like to travel a lot? I forget who was asking me, and I said I don't want to travel. I finally have everything I want in this basement. I'm never leaving. It's perfect. It's perfect down here. And best regard, Zach Tan always has pleasant, positive comments. Yes, you can see I'm filibustering until somebody shows up and helps me talk. But here is the campaign again. As you can see, give people what they want. Black or white. I never thought of a black or white till a few different people asked me. I love this. Again, if I never make another comic book again, which I hope never happens, I'm so proud that I'm part of this image. I just remember I was on the train. I have an hour train ride to and from work. So an hour to work, an hour back. And I read, I daydream, I do my emails. And I said, I don't want the back cover to be an ad for the printer. You only get one chance to make your first comic. So I said, what would go on the back? And the story is called Daddy's Home. And it's a 22-page story of the patriarch just trying to get home. But he's a superhero and he keeps, perils and tribulations. And this is what he's trying to get home for. So to me, this is just like his reward after a hard day's work. Any side story crossover with Mr. Monster drawn by Red? You want to hear? I am a weirdo, and I don't want any other characters in my world. Like, I don't want to use public domain characters, and I don't want to, as much as I love Mr. Monster, I don't want Mr. Monster in my world, because that would mean this does sound bad, and don't take it the wrong way. That means somebody has control over my own world. And I can't just do like that Image does, where the characters just interact and then leave and then never ever reference it again. Like, if we ever did an indie comics crossover and the patriarch is meeting, say, Genuine Comics, Perfect 10, and all of those characters, I would have to make up a story that makes sense with the way my world works. Believe me, I have a whole physics in a multiverse, and not a multiverse like the DC version. There's only one version of any person. If the patriarch dies, he's dead. That even though there's a multiverse, the laws of physics are different in each universe, so there cannot possibly be another copy. There's only one Renzo, there's only one Oscar, and thank God there's only one John Longbox in the universe, in the multiverse. So I would have to make a story that it makes sense, because I'm just too much of a anal retentive. Does that make sense? Is that bad? As much as I would love the patriarch to be hanging out with Superman in the Fantastic Four, I would have to make an in-world reason why that happened. The patriarch solves a mystery with Sherlock Holmes and Tarzan. It's funny that you should say that, because the next universe over is a universe where, like, in DC Comics where the Earth One people in their dreams they would dream of Earth Two, and then they would write comic book stories. Well, the Patriarch's world, the real world, like H.P. Lovecraft and Burroughs and I'm trying to think of like Tolkien. They get their inspirations come from another. So there is a universe where there are, like, let's just say H.G. Wells and the War of the Worlds. That's a universe away. Things like that. And of course, it's different because dreams get distorted when going through the veils. So yes, if I make it long enough, that's probably around issue 15, 16, if I make it to there. So issue number 1 is 22 pages of the Patriarch, the introduction to the Patriarch. He's already been a superhero for 20 years at this point. So he's older. He's 44 years old. Issue number, and then back up is set in 1999. It's the introduction of Lucius Kane, who will become a supervillain. He's the mayor of Science City. So it's set 20 years in the past. Issue number 2, the Patriarch and Lucius Kane will be meeting in the present. So the younger character that you see in the first issue will be older in the second issue. And then the second issue will have the origin of Mary Sue. The third issue will have the origin of the Patriarch and the introduction of another character that I'm not going to introduce. I'm not telling you his name yet. Why? Because originally he was called the Raven, and then I found out that I already knew that there were other characters called Raven, but I figured my character was different enough. And some people rightfully explained to me that that's just inviting trouble. So I changed his name to the Rook, and then Jeff Johns came out with the character called the Rook. He's a Batman type character, archetype. So now I came up with a new concept, and I'm so happy that happened because I had to change him, and I think I changed him for the better. It's a perfect example of art through adversary. I had problems that I had to solve, and that was like the sandpaper that made a generic Batman knockoff become awesome. And that's why I had Renzo draw the promo poster. That's probably going to be the centerpiece in issue number 2 of the character coming in issue 3. Oh my God, I can't wait. Chef's kiss. Marcus is going to pop in. I'm just waiting for him to get situated. Dreams from a Veil is a neat concept. I wish I could say I originated it. But the dreaming from Max, the dreaming from Sandman, and then the Dreamlands from H.P. Lovecraft. We all drink from the same wells. Are you ready, Marcus? Can I bring you in? Okay. So how you doing? This is Marcus Kellegrew. I just realized I don't have people's names. I got to put that back up.
People seem to know me, much to my surprise.
Yeah, everybody knows Marcus.
Yeah, but thank you. When you went to visit,
can you turn up your mic a little bit, please?
Yeah, sure. I never know how I sound. I'm sorry.
I know. So Marcus very nicely invited me to his place for Heroes Con. I just laying out the money for the comic books, and then taking the time off. In my job, if you take time off, you just don't get paid. So I just couldn't afford it.
I know.
And I'm so mad because it looks like it was so much fun.
Well, there's always next. Is that any better? Can anybody hear me better?
Not really. Let me see. Maybe I could change your volume.
I don't know if there's a way. They just opened the StreamYards, made me open an app for it. They decided that Safari was not any good. My wife's away. I'll talk really loud.
Yeah, scream. My wife's right here. I still talk very loud. I'm an Italian from New York, guys. Try to get me to be quiet. I'm eating a McNugget from Wendy's because my stomach is growling.
My wife is the only quiet Italian from New York. The rest of us, I'm not Italian, but we're all loud.
So DCC.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
When you went to visit Billy, at that con, and then to the Garden State, were you surprised that people really knew who you were?
Oh my God! Yeah, to reference what Marcus is talking about. Vaughn Coleman, who's doing the comic Phenomenova, he messaged me and said there's a free comic book day in Long Island, and he assumed everybody on Long Island is 5 minutes away. It was still an hour away, but still it was close. And he said you should go. You know, Billy Tucci's going to be there, Cecil's going to be there, and a couple of other guys. And I was like, you know, he's absolutely right. You know, got to get out there. You know, so I told my wife this is a business meeting. I drove out there. I met Billy Tucci. So I was the first one. So I get there. Billy Tucci's setting up his booth. He's moving things around, and I'm standing there. And he looks up, and I go, "Hi, I'm John from John's Long Box." And Billy Tucci just goes, "How come you didn't invite me on your channel yet?" That was,
That's,
you know,
that's
he
Billy.
is the coolest guy. Like
Yeah,
the only
he's the
way,
best.
yeah, the only way to compare it, hanging out with Billy Tucci is the closest I will ever get to hanging out with Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack. He was cool.
Billy reminds me of my best friend in New York. You know, it's just an Italian guy, everybody's buddy. You know, he organizes everything. Yeah, Billy at Heroes Con, I ended up being the official seat filler. I sat in for Billy. I sat in for Rich Stonke. I sat in for Andy, not as much. And I always hang out with Andy. That's how I got this in. I sit down with Fraga. Fraga's like one of the best people of all time.
Dan Fraga. Yeah,
And then
I'll get to that.
I made friends with PTP. I have my opinions about what happened with him, but that doesn't matter when I meet him. Great guy. No issues at all. He could do whatever he wants. You know, and they can do whatever they want. I like to watch all that stuff, but I don't have like a heavy opinion. Sometimes I think people overreact a little.
I wonder how much of it is just kayfabe,
you know?
for
PTP wasn't kayfabe because I
No.
also talked to Shane and Yanzi. I met Shane and Yanzi. Oh, they were so nice. Shane lives about an hour from me.
Now, more importantly,
He's
did
so
you meet
nice.
Baby Pterodactyl?
No, I did not. I think Mom had Yanzi's mom had Baby Pterodactyl. I met Shane for about an hour, and like Shane is just like he is when he's like normal, not when he's really angry. You know, he got his YouTube channel.
Oh yeah,
everybody should rejoin.
That was a wake up
Shane's
call. Shane, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Shane Davis's channel got wiped from YouTube, and this is a guy who's been doing it for a long. That was a wake up call. I think I do make a backup channel on Rumble. So
I go to Rumble. I will go. I'm not crazy for it. It's not smooth.
Yeah, I don't want to go, but I think it's a smart move.
Well, he's on Nine Lives Comics now. If you look up Nine Lives Comics, they have a channel, corporate channel. I like Shane when he talks comics. He knows a lot about comics, and he's into comics. He's showing us his cover he did. He's doing a commission. He's telling all about he's like you. What do you talk to you on? All about the Inglorious Rex story, all that other stuff, like the mains. That's the entertainment. That's him trying to gain a channel and different. Yeah, it's fascinating. I saw Rini. Rini's sweet. Well, I knew Rini from before, and Phil Diaz. I met Phil, and then like the thing was, you find out after that Phil and wouldn't make eye contact with Shane. Like they're all like avoiding each other, but the place is so big, you never have to see anybody. Like it's a big comic convention. It's all comics, it's all creators, and it's huge. And so there's a bunch of CGers that are in the chats that now I've seen for 3 years, and they look and we hang out. Like I hang out a lot with Chris Moromi, and I ended up talking to Jim Shooter for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Jim Shooter's so cool.
This guy, I met him before last year, and I said, "Hey, Mr. Shooter," I thanked him, and I said how much my dad admires him. My dad admires Jim Shooter, and he loved all that, and he didn't get to talk that long. But this time, the other guy was with me. This guy Sean, and we just started asking questions, and the stories just come out of him, like he's on. It's unbelievable. I even know about the first time he took his son to a Motley Crue concert. You know, so yeah.
I was taking the time to eat something while you were talking.
No, eat all you want. Project Noosis was there, but I didn't stop by. Like you realize, I saw Howardenberg. I met him. You guys posted those pictures. I got some of his comics. I bought some of his comics. I bought Rini's. I never bought Rini's comic.
You bought Fiendish? It's really good.
I bought 1 and 2. I haven't read anything. I haven't had. I do a lot of
I just
driving. I
realized
get home and I start reading 2 pages or something. I fall asleep. I just got Godlike, and I got Clint Helinski's comic, which isn't a deep read.
Yeah, I got all of those. I get too many comics. So back to the free comic book day. I'm hanging out with Bill Tucci, and then another guy says, "Oh, you're John from John's Long Box," and that was the first time like a civilian recognized me. And you try not to let it go to your head, but we're human. It goes to your head.
They recognize my name, and somehow they're counting on me. All these guys, the Kings guys, counting on me to have all the answers, to be the CG's historian. Because listen, I don't remember all the stuff, but I just have comics.org on my phone, and it's right there. And I just have fast internet, and I just double check everything. But they're like, "Oh, you're the guy who knows everything." I'm like, "Oh boy,
Oh, good.
now the pressure's on."
You're a know-it-all.
But they do know around. Yeah, well, I try not.
But you got to be like, no, actually, it was Avengers 149.
No, see, I don't want to do it like that. I just want to kind of.
I would like to address this chat question before it goes away and I forget about it. DCC asked, Renzo has the touch of a master like Garcia Lopez, but his own style. Absolutely. I've been saying that Renzo is the perfect blend of, to me, George Perez. I almost said George Byrne and John Perez. John Byrne and George Perez, if you squished them together, you get Renzo. And those are my 2 favorite superhero artists. So will he be the artist on number 2? Yes. Renzo is drawing the Mary Sue story, and he's drawing the Patriarch story. I will have a backup on Heroic Tales featuring another villain, but I'm going to do it properly this time. It'll be a proper stretch goal. So do that. That's a good idea. Yeah, I made a lot of mistakes, and I made mistakes out of enthusiasm. So this comic was a little bit more expensive than it needed to be, but and I charged a little too low because whatever. So like I said, it'll be a flip book. You can have Mary Sue cover drawn by Renzo. Flip it over, it's gonna have the Patriarch cover drawn by Renzo. Then I'm gonna have another edition. I don't want to make 16 different comics. I feel that's preying on people.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Right.
For you as a backer, like I make jokes that I back with gift cards.
Let me finish explaining this. So,
sure, sorry.
I'm going to have a variant edition. The variant edition is going to have Josh Howard drawing Mary Sue, and then you flip it over, and it's going to have Jose Garcia drawing the Patriarch, and that's it. So there's going to be 2 comics. Even on Kickstarter, even because I went a little nuts with those variant covers, made it more expensive than it needed to be. Oh, wow.
Great idea.
I just noticed this. We got Heroenberg.
Hail, Heroenberg.
Oh, when I went to, so that's the story with Billy Tucci. He goes, John, hang out. We're all going to a bar. So I'm in a bar drinking with Cecil, who is the most charming person you're ever going to meet. Billy Tucci, the coolest guy you're ever going to meet. And Vaughn Coleman. It was just a great day. And then Vaughn says to me, you got to go to Graham Nolan's cigar party. It's in New Jersey. He's like my boss now, Vaughn Coleman. So I'm like, you're right. So I put it on Twitter. Who wants to go with me? It's, I asked my wife. She didn't want to go, but you got to ask your wife. The day I don't invite my wife is the day she gets, why aren't you inviting me? But you do the right thing. You invite your wife first. I'm giving all you get married guys advice. So I asked my wife. She said no. So I put it on Twitter. Would anybody like to go with me? I'll drive in. And Jesse Blaze Snyder, it turns out he lives.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool.
He has a comic on crowdfunding called Effing for the Future right now. He's been on my channel before. I was like, he was in LA when I talked to him. So I was like, all right. I went and picked him up like fast friends within 10 minutes. We're like talking, like we couldn't get a word. You're talking about comic books the whole way. The ride was so much fun. We get there. And I guess we both got shy. I take a little bit of time to warm. We both look at each other like we made a horrible mistake. Like we were just hanging against it was like prom and we were the nerdy kids. But I had one beer. I promised my wife I wouldn't drink. He had one beer, kind of loosened me up a little bit. And then next thing you know, Ethan Van Sciver just comes busting through the door like the majorette, and he's talking. He got everybody talking. Next thing you know, I was talking with Juju and Cecil and Vaughn, and it just turned really great. You could see me on camera talk with EVS on his channel. It just turned. Next thing you know, I'm out there. I met a whole bunch of people. Dan Fraga, what a
Fraga's the best.
What a cool guy Dan Fraga
He is a great guy.
He recognized me and was talking to me, and like you didn't get the feeling that he was blowing you up. Oh, and and then Vaughn says to me, "Did you meet Pat Broderick?" I was like, "Pat Broderick's here!" Oh my! Can you imagine if I went to that party and I didn't meet Pat Broderick?
Oh no, that would be
terrible. That was like meeting Sam Elliott.
He was at Heroes Con too.
Yeah,
but again, it's so big.
Heroenberg was there.
Get everybody.
So Heroenberg comes out, and it's funny. I recognized his voice, but I didn't. You know when you hear a voice, like I have a voice. I have a picture of RJ from the Fourth Age. I've never seen him. I don't know what he looks like, but I have his clear. And then I'm going to meet him, and he's going to look completely different. You know what I mean? He's going to be like this really short Chinese guy or something. I'm picturing this. So I met Heroenberg, and like he was like, I'm like, "You're Heroen." You know, it just looked different from the voice, and he was great. It was great to meet Heroenberg. So that was really cool. I met so many. Graham Nolan recognized me and was talking to me. I sound like a name dropper, but I'm just talking out of excitement.
Oh, I want to meet Graham so bad. That's why I want to go to.
He was so cool.
Because I feel like I have so much in common with him. You know,
Andy Smith I met for the first time.
Yeah, now I met Andy. I was at his house.
And a few people whose names I'm going to forget because I met their real names, and I don't want to say their real names because they have, Twitter names. But I met them. They will come up to me. "Oh, I watch your channel. Oh my God. It was so cool, to the point where it started to rain and nobody left because we were having a great time, and I don't think I got home till like 5:00 in the morning. The cigar party was fun for the second straight year. Met some cool CGers, but it was a bit wet due to the rain. Yep. Heroenberg. Absolutely. And Heroenberg, you told me to tell you I did not get your comic that you said that you mailed. So
I bought Herenberg's comics. They're great. They were fun comics.
I got whatever
superhero. It was a whole lot of fun.
Okay, I think use whatever platform you want. I don't back a ton on Kickstarter project, but when I do it with Karen Nicole and a few others who don't use IGG best. Yeah.
What EVS said yesterday was that if you have two campaigns, you're going to have three. He will promote FMC and Indiegogo. He will not promote your Kickstarter. So if you're
that's his prerogative.
He's just and that's all he said. He's going to stick to his friend Zach and Malin's. Although Zach kind of tipped his water in Kickstarter one time too. Malin's being kicked off. Their boycott. That doesn't mean he hates your guts because he doesn't let you use Kickstarter. He just won't promote Kickstarter. And Tucci comes on, and they only promote his Indiegogo. They don't promote his Kickstarters. He does as good or better on Kickstarter. But the reason why they let Tucci get away with it, as Malin said, well, he's Billy Tucci.
Right,
He's been doing this 30 years. He's the original, him and Brian Polito.
Absolutely.
And Jeff Bone. Jeff, the guy who does Bone. Jeff Smith.
Oh, Jeff Smith. Jeff Smith.
They're the original guys who did indie comics back in 95, 96, 97. They are not going to kick Tucci out. Tucci gives CG a more credibility among other people. That's why he's a king. That's why they have the kings. So they have a little more credit, especially at the like when you started way before me, John, watching this stuff. There's a lot more credibility. The more mainstream guys can come over. And so that's why they do that. I mean, I don't know. It's fine. I mean, they have different philosophies.
I had some one-on-one time with EVS at the party, and we were talking. He first off, he's charming in person. Once the camera goes off,
he's a good broker.
He's like more of like a shyer guy. You realize how much people perform for the camera. And we were talking, shaking hands, and I enjoyed talking to him. It was a lot of fun. Everybody. I got no problems with nobody.
I'd like to meet him too.
I got no problems with, and if he said that, he goes, "Oh my God, I finally met somebody who doesn't have a problem with me." I said, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? I just wanted to bring this back because I've been getting notifications that people have been backing my Fund My Comic too. So thank you. So I'm thinking between this Fund My Comic or $40 short
Well,
of the $5,000 goal.
Your comic. Oh, you're gonna mix those. You mix the
Yeah,
so for stretch goals. That's what Andy did. That's good.
yeah. So the total. So guys, this is at $490. So this is $40 away from 5,000, and then the Kickstarter is at $150. So yes, I will be unlocking the next card. So give me a day or two. The art is already done. The art for all the cards except for one is already done. A guy that I met at the cigar party volunteered to do the backs of all the cards. Of course, I'll pay him. You know, I'm not asking anybody. So he's working on that. We're going through a couple of stuff. So the backs of the cards, he has the information, and we'll work on that. So here we go. Whoever backed this, I so much stuff I'm not saying, and I don't want to say anybody's names in case they don't want me to say their names. But I'll take this off, and I'll put the Kickstarter back on as I hit the wrong button. So yeah, so we were at 146 plus. All I needed was 40, so I'm $100 over the next stretch goal. Cool. I really want to make all the cards, guys. I'm probably gonna make them all. Well, I'm definitely making them all because I already paid for the art and the color, so I'm making them all. The difference is I'll be selling them, you know, later campaigns and after. So anybody who backs them will get them for free. But if you know later on, if you want to buy cards, I'll sell cards. What company are you using to print the collector cards? We're going to be doing a 20 card set in a few months. If you ask me who I'm using the same person that Brian Bow used for his cards. He gave me all the information, including the woman to speak to, and I can't think of it right now because I'm not looking at it. I would have to close this down and go into Twitter, but I'll bring this up. Brian Bow, for those of you who don't know, does Wolf and Batsy, and he did these.
Yeah, I just got those
cards, you know, with his campaign. So he gave me all the again. Everybody in this indie sphere. Maybe I'm naive, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm lucky, maybe a combination of all of that has been so helpful. So Brian Bow of Wolf and Batsy, if you go to brianbow.net, you can check that comic, which I absolutely love. But I'll be using whoever he uses. In Heroinberg, if you message me tomorrow night, I'll have that information for you. Unless you're telling me who you're using, in which case I'll take your information. Marcus, go ahead and talk now.
All right. So I was mentioning before, this is not something anybody has to back, but I am going to do a third story for Mythic Americas or Mythic Earth. Now that's a role-playing game, a Warhammer style tabletop game for indigenous people. The owner is Nelson Martinez. And
this is your project?
Yeah, my writer just texted me the other day. Well, he's
okay.
The guy who did the Captain Courage with. So I'll do anything with him. I've worked so much for free. We pitched so many stories back in the 90s and early 2000s. And I got paid low money for the first two. They're like 7, 8 page stories. They call it graphic novel, you know. A pencil. One was about Aztecs. One is about Mayans. They're not all that much fun because they're allegories. It's like the one who tells you what to do, and he told us to kill the whole, you know, village. You know those stories. Mythical. They're myths. You know. And now this one's going to be about Inuits. I actually have to read it all, and there'll probably be splash pages. But if they want to see it, you know, I did not letter it. I don't like the lettering too much. But if you want to see it, it's at mythicamericas.com. And then you'll go and it'll be graphic.
Put it in the private chat. Marcus, put it in the private chat, and I'll put it in the main chat.
If I can. I'm on my phone.
Oh, what is it called then? And I'll just type it out.
It's just mythicamericas.com. I put it earlier in the chat I posted it.
Yeah, but I can't find it. Mythic what?
Well, hold on. Let me do it. I'll do it. I'll send it. I can do it. I just got to turn this other thing off. Hold on. I have a tablet here, but I had something running on it. Just 1 second.
Okay. Yeah.
It'll take a second. We'll just keep talking about it. It's not that big a deal.
So Heroinberg has a comment. He says, Brian Bow's Wolf and Batsy is awesome. I'll message you tomorrow. Yes. Yeah. And Heroinberg, it's up to issue 4. I think issue 4 just got released. It's a fun series. One of the things that I really like about Heroinberg is I'm very particular about superhero costumes and names, and then the powers have to fit. And Heroenberg, whose name I don't even know what your real name is, does it correctly. So that's one of my pet peeves. When you see a superhero and his name is just like, I don't know, the Easel, and he carries guns and shoots laser beams and flies through space. It's like, dude, you're not trying. Like, yes, I'm talking about Rob Liefeld. I don't like Cable. I don't get what that name means.
We were just talking about that today, by the way. I was telling my writer about you and how you're crowdfunding this book, and we were talking about the names. Welcome to Mythic. Let's
see. I don't think
it was pretty funny.
I don't think you're going to be able to put it in because it's a link, and only I can put in links on StreamYard. So put it in the private chat, and then I'll be able
I can do it. I'm going to do it on. I can do it on.
Oh, you're going to do it on YouTube.
I have a separate device. I just opened it up.
Okay.
I'll do it right here.
The Blue Raja. That was funny to me. In the what was the name of that movie? Oh, now that's going to drive me crazy. With Mr. Furious, the Spleen, the Shoveler, the goofy superhero.
I gotta get it on.
But that was funny. The Blue Raja. He throws forks because England took over India. It all makes sense, but I still don't get it. But it's pretty funny. Mystery Men. That's it. Mystery Men. I saw that movie. I saw that movie theater like 3 times. My favorite line in Mystery Men is when Captain Fantastic
this is it.
gets killed, and they go, "Oh my God, you killed Captain Fantastic!" And the guy goes, "I was over here." The shoveler right away throws everybody under the bus. Eddie's Gaming. Yes, let's all talk comics. Let's all talk comics. And while we're talking comics, let's check out my Kickstarter campaign.
Got it.
Oh, I'm scrolling on my Fund My Comic campaign. Here we go. Just I'm going to keep this up. Somebody said this was charming. This is my variant cover drawn by Michael T. Gilbert, who is a legend. He grew up in Levittown, Marcus, right?
That's what Bill O'Reilly is from.
Yeah, he grew up in Levittown, not too far away from me. And he's got that Long Island sarcastic wit that I appreciate. I think people it took my wife a while to get used to the humor here, huh?
My wife's still not used to it.
Yeah.
30 years. I married her over 30 years. She's still not used
Is
to
your
it.
wife from Long Island also?
No, we're all from Westchester County, the other side of Long Island Sound.
Oh, Westchester. Up by the X-Men.
Right across the other side of Long Island Sound. Larchmont, New Rochelle.
Yeah, so you grew up by Charles Xavier's mansion.
No, Charles Xavier's mansion is northern Westchester. My wife is closer. So White Plains, where the county courthouse is, and they have courts, that's up at the middle of Westchester County. And then Salem is literally where Charles Xavier is about 45 minutes north of that.
I love the way you and I are talking about that as if it's a real place.
It is a real place. No, it is called West Salem. No, there's North Salem and South Salem. It is a place called Salem.
Heroenberg. I got to say, Heroenberg is wrong most of the time, but he's right now. He's absolutely right now.
That's true. He's right.
Your sound just got better. I have to disagree. I just realized he's wrong most of the time because she was also hot in the Ben Stiller show, which lasted like 1 season. Ben Stiller's first variety show. I used to think
I remember that.
And then I don't know what happened to her. I think she was plagued by the undead virus. That's what I think.
It's the liberal virus that eats you out from inside.
So if anybody wants to come on in. Actually, I already saw that comment.
I have to apologize to you, John.
Why? What did you do?
I have to give you more support when I agree with you on Twitter. When you're making the right call, like the Heritage Foundation thing, Palmiani keeps on saying that Trump does this. Trump has Agenda 47. That's Trump's thing. Trump is not linked to that other whatever 2025 thing.
That's the most politics I want to get into. But yes, I definitely think
they're all starting to do that. And I love Jimmy. I met Jimmy personally. He's just like he's a lot like Billy. He's a great guy. He's a little more into himself than Billy is because right now with he, with Amanda Connor, his star. I mean, they had a long line because of Harley Quinn. But he's a nice guy. Doesn't
Oh,
overcharge for
I love
autographs. He's
Jimmy.
a really
And
nice
to
guy.
Jimmy's credit, you could disagree with him, and he doesn't freak out. Jimmy,
No, we talk. Yeah, he said that same thing. He just doesn't understand. That's all.
Jimmy Palmiotti, and I love the fact he calls himself an independent. He's only voted for Democrats for the past 45 years. He spouts every Democrat talking point, but he's independent because he's ashamed to call himself a Democrat. But that's it. No more politics. We're done. We're done, Marcus.
He's a New Yorker.
Uh,
He's a New Yorker. A lot of New Yorkers are like that.
So again, anybody want to pop in? I'll put the link to the chat here.
And I am going to back you. I decided I'm going to back you on each platform.
Oh, thank you.
Your comics are not expensive. I had a lot of trouble backing. There's a lot of people I want to back. Project Gnosis, all these great looking books. I don't have the money to back everybody. I don't get the back. Like Vaughn, I have to back. I haven't backed him yet.
Well, thank you.
I know him personally, so I want to back him. And it's just a matter of me, trying to. My wife will always say, "You can't spend that much money." I don't know if she does kind of understand. But yours not expensive, so I don't see why I shouldn't.
I'm also giving a plug to another
one.
I
got to do him too. Again,
this is Fabrizio Aiello. He does Horace H. Hoover.
Oh.
He was going to come tonight, but he's traveling. I think he's camping with his wife. Can't beat that.
I have a question about Horace H. Hoover. Maybe you can help me. Are the new books better printed than the other ones? Because I have the first two. Is it worth it to get all of them?
They're different. They're stiffer. It's better quality paper. They're $8 instead of the $2.99, but I still think $8 is a good price.
I mean, I think that's a great price.
But Fabrizio loves them. He put in the original material that didn't make it into the. So there's a lot of, but I will say that this is a better printed comic, but I'm still nostalgic for the newsprint. So
yeah, I know. I'm at least going to get 3. I was just wondering if I would get all 3. I mean,
so
I might not. We'll see.
I of course, Fabrizio he has a page in my comic. So Brian Bow has a page in my comic. Matt Bauer has a page in my comic, and then of course Renzo, and of course Ron Mosicki. Ron Mosicki has a comic called Nano 13.
That's a nice looking book.
Yeah, when I gave Ron. Marcus will tell you he tried out too, and I unfortunately can't have everybody. But it's a story of a guy waking up, going through the, you know what I mean? It's very mundane until the last couple of pages, and then I saw what Ron is capable of drawing. I was like, Ron.
No, I will say this: I did not think of it doing what Ron did. I thought of following it. The script panel by panel and make it interesting with shadows and angles. But I didn't think of taking that and making it 2 pages like that. That's fantastic. And then the storytelling's on the inside. So I can't get mad because I would have never thought of that. Now, if we both thought of the same thing, you know what I'm saying? Then I'll be like,
it's funny because I gave him the same directions I gave you. As like the credit page, I want it to be like Will Eisner's The Spirit. Like, can we put it on a billboard? That's all I said. And then he, like this, I was like, yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have thought of that. I didn't think of that. Why would I? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. Now, maybe next time I'll think of something like that. But I'm usually trying to, I thought that was really wonderful. So it is what it is. I'm
glad that you got your own project. I think that's awesome.
I was annoyed for a day or two, but I said, what am I going to act like these other CGs? This is ridiculous.
I think it's funny.
It's different. It's not. It's different. Way different. That's fine.
What I think is funny is 4 people tried out and 2 people just disappeared.
Well, if you ever need anything, I'm here to help you out. I love doing that.
Excuse me.
I like doing that drawing.
Yeah.
Of the patriarch. So
Yeah, I love this. I love this character. I love the costume.
It's a fun character.
I don't have to refresh.
I even drew his logo by hand. Don't look at it too carefully.
I'm getting messages. Do I respond? I don't know if I'll have time to. I'll respond to the messages. Like on Kickstarter, people are asking me questions.
You should respond to the questions.
Yeah, I'm gonna respond right now. Go ahead, Marcus. You talk.
So, does anybody have any questions for me? I do work all traditional, pencil and ink, no computer, which makes it a little more difficult. I can't even put it in and scan it and fix things.
Oh,
We should all back.
okay. It's a spam bot. Hello, I've been following your campaign with great interest. I got all excited, guys. Wah, 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 wah. Let's see if all of the messages. Yeah. Okay, they're all these messages are so disappointing. If you don't mind, I can help you boost up your goals within a few days. Here is proof. Click on here. Subscribe to this. Okay. I'm disappointed, ladies and gentlemen. I thought it was people like, wow, that looks great. This is the best looking comic book I've ever seen.
Well, and I have nothing. I love you. Kickstarter's fine. Like Karen Nicole. I've watched those. Got to get on the. They used to do the show with Pop XP. Niall did the show with Kara, and they kind of slowed it down because they were promoting 4 or 5 guys every day, all the time, and all sorts of them. CJers, not CJers, Kickstarter. It didn't matter. And now they're not doing it. They're rethinking it because nobody watches the shows. I was talking to Billy about it. He's like, nobody what? Like they get like 10 or 12 people. They're trying to promote these guys. And this is one of the biggest problems, getting promotion on other channels. Those are not the most watched YouTube shows. I don't know. I would just smart chat make them read my book, read back this for $5.
Oh, cool. I got 2 people back in the Gilbert cover. Cool.
Yeah, I like the Gilbert cover. That's from that Kurt Swan cover or Superman cover, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because Michael T. Gilbert, he colored it. He mailed it to me. I got this hanging up. It's so cool. It's funny because I never wanted to go down the original art rabbit hole.
Oh,
but
no.
now I got a whole wall full of original art, but it's all from my comic book.
If I had to do it again, John, when I was going to Creation Cons at 12 and 13, my dad was taking me and my brother, and I had a list of buy comics. The Phil comic. I think I would have, if I had to go back, I'd go back and buy original art instead. Because you have John Byrne sitting at a table with a stack of pages that say 25 on them, and they're X-Men pages. That means at $25. And
no. I told you my famous story. That would be great. You could watch me choke to death live on my launch party.
Yeah, have something to drink.
Now I'm not falling for it. Now I'm getting messages about my Kickstarter. But there was a comic book store called The Incredible Pulp, which I got to get Larry, the owner of that comic book store, to come on my channel.
That's a great name.
Yeah, The Incredible Pulp, and it had like the Shadow and the Hulk on. It was so cool, and I was like, oh my god, a store that sells comic books. So I borrowed my friend Tommy's bicycle and rode there the day it opened. And there was a big pile of bicycles in front. I go inside, and they had a glass booth, and they had Amazing Fantasy 15 Amazing Fantasy 15, Fantastic Four #1, and X-Men #1, $60 a piece. Now, I don't remember the condition, but $60 a piece. And I remember going, who would ever spend $60 on a comic book? And that was even in 5th grade, that's a lot of money. It was a lot of money, but it wasn't beyond, like, I could work up, for a couple of months and buy one of those comics. If I had a time machine, I'm not killing Hitler. I'm going back to The Incredible Pulp. I'm buying, actually.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. So the story is I saw him at a con, and when I was younger, I would watch the artists draw. So I'm watching Bob Layton, Bill Sienkiewicz, and this is in the 80s, so they're real young, right? And Brett Anderson. And I decided I'm gonna buy a comic piece. I bought a comic of Iron Man 148 original cover
Oh
from
wow!
Bob Layton for $45. And
I'm
he's
looking
like,
up with Iron Man what Iron Man 148.
yeah, he's coming through the he's coming from underneath. He's busting through the floor with a bunch of scientists.
Oh wow!
And yeah, it was a great page. And you learn from the page. $45. So I have all these pages. Yeah, that's it. I have all these pages. I don't have that many pages. At that page, I have a couple more. And then at some point, we needed some money, and I said, "Well, let's see what happens." So I put it on eBay, and this is like 2000, still in New York, 5. So it isn't even now. It went for $4,200.
Nice.
And I go, why did it go that high? Because there's not that many Bob Layton pages covers out there. You still don't see that many. He does recreations instead because nobody sees them. People hold on to them. I don't know where they are.
That is well.
And
You
I'm
made
like,
you made a
my
good.
God.
Believe me, my wife is sitting over. Oh, she just left. I didn't even notice. But she knows the value of my comics because just 2 months ago, 2 guys died on my job. You know, 2 guys were digging a
That's
ditch,
terrible.
and the ditch collapsed on them. I came home. I was just like,
sorry.
honey, this is what my comic books cost. This is the value. You know, if I die in a ditch, you know, I want you well taken care of. You know what I mean? That's just so. Damn. Oh, I wanted to address this. Zatka, do you know this story, or are you just messing with me? But in the Incredible Pulp, I picked up Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. My friend Larry, the owner of the store, was like, "Look at this! This just came out," and I had it in my hand, and I was just like, "They're making fun of Daredevil. They're making fun of Frank Miller."
Yeah. I feel the same. I felt the same way.
And I put it down, and till 6 to 7 months ago, Tonic Ball made me read. I never touched teenage. I had this irrational hatred of them, and I call that my $180,000 mistake. So Zach Khan, I don't know if it was a coincidence or if you're just twisting the screw of how stupid I was, but yes.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have sold it anyway.
I would. Yeah. Well, my wife and her new boyfriend would have some money.
You have plenty of other books that are worth it, so I'm sure it evens out.
Yeah, damn. To think back in the 80s, high school, I was spending $250 to $500 on drum machines and synthesizers. You know what's funny? My friend Jimmy and I we played the superhero role playing, and he has a character. He'll come over more than ever, so we'll play just solo. You know, just his character going through, and his character went back in time to 1961. So he's been living. I think he's up to 1974 now, and that's one of the things that he does is he goes once a month and buys every comic book and begs and boards them. Like his character in this fictional world is collecting all the Marvels and DCs because he couldn't do it in real life, so he's doing it in the fantasy.
That's funny.
Yeah, when I was on that Sunday stream, yeah, I told that story. My $180,000 mistake.
Well, with the amount of comics, you haven't made too many mistakes. You know, you have all of them except for that one. What are you going to do?
In some cases, too many.
Yeah.
I still have way too many comics. So here's the link. This is my comic right now on Kickstarter. Let me see where we're up to. So we got through the next stretch goal. Thank you, everybody. Okay, 6 backers. Wow. Oh, that was weird, the way it hovered like that. 6 backers. Thank you, everybody.
Hold on.
And don't forget that I'll also put this in the link. Don't forget, I still have it live on Fund My Comic. Again, Fund My Comic is going to be the home. Fund My Comic is still active. That's going to be my in-demand store. When Kickstarter shuts down, it shuts down. You know, that's going to be over. And then Indiegogo is going to fire up. And again, when that shuts down, my goal is when Indiegogo loads up, I'm hoping to start shipping out the Fund My Comic stuff. That's what I'm hoping. You know, keep your fingers crossed. Let's say a prayer for Daniel's father. You know. Again, right. And I'd like to think that nobody would get upset if given what's going on. And I don't want to switch colorists for the last 5 pages. You know what I mean? I'm just too anal retentive for that. So, yeah.
Well, you're early. You're really early enough, I think. Most of the time, a lot of people have. It's like if I had to do a crowdfund, we were just talking about it. I'd have to have a cover and 5 pages, and I just have to wait for it to fund. Now, I have with what we would do. I have pre-done work. I have like 2 stories that nobody saw, and I have another 2 stories already drawn. So I am halfway there.
Oh, good for you.
But we'd have to wait.
And I do like your art, Marcus. Don't get me wrong.
Okay, I would have to wait, to actually fund it. But the idea of the crowdfund is you have no money, you want to make a comic, so you wait for someone to fund you, and that's like Andy does that, Graham to a certain, they do that. They're not, and they're creating it while you're funding the comic for that time.
But that's their source of income. That's their job.
Right. You know? So what they do, the difference is that they actually are paying themselves their page rate on the way through,
right?
So they can live a life, so they can live their lives. They don't have other jobs, So that, and people don't understand that. But some of these people, like Rini, has a full-time job, and she had to go back to the office. So she really,
I was blown away when you told me that.
And I go, she'd go back to the office. Oh my! I knew she worked.
55 people watching. Here's a little sneak. Rini said that she's coming to New York, and if she comes to New York, we're gonna play a role-playing game, and Vaughn might come out here.
That'd be great.
So what I want to do,
nice.
I have a fake beard over here for a cost. I'm gonna have her do a John's Long Box. Just put a fake beard on it. I think that would be so funny.
She will fake beard once for gray beards. It'll be great.
I can't keep a secret. Yeah, but when Rini said that she still has a full-time job, I was taken back. But then again, health insurance is expensive. You know what I mean?
She always had a full-time job, but during COVID, they sent her home. So was she able to work from home? She didn't have to travel. She was, down where there's a lot of traffic. And she, and then also if she gets her work done early, she can work on her comic. Now she's stuck in an office. So that's 8 hours a day plus travel. And so that's why she's not making any promises. She's going to do the Features 3, but it's going to be a while,
It's funny because, my wife and I were talking before I went live, and she's like, wow, what if you do really good stuff? I said, I still have to, like, let's just say it goes super well, you know what I mean? And whatever. I said, I still have to keep my job. I got to keep my health benefits, and I'm 3 years away from my pension.
No, you have good health benefits too.
I can't throw that away. You know what I mean? What it would do is make it so I don't have to work overtime, and I could, ease into the last 3 years of retirement.
Now work overtime.
You want to hear a funny story? My UPS driver at my old apartment in Queens, he won the lottery. He won one of those.
Oh my God!
He won $1,000 a week for life. The scratcher.
That's not that much.
That's the whole point of the story.
It's nice to have extra money.
That's the whole point of the story. Is he told me about that, and I went, "Oh, congratulations, buddy!" And he said I saw him. He got like teary-eyed. He said, John, you're the only person to congratulate me. Everybody else gets jealous. Everybody else just hears that I won the lottery. He goes, I have family members who work on Wall Street. And he goes, I'm a UPS driver. So he was making like 90 grand a year, then add the 50,000 of it, which is not really, because it was only 650 a week after taxes. So just say he's making 140 a year. He goes, I got guys on Wall Street in my family who are making 200 a year, asking me for money and then getting mad that I'm not lending them money. They're like, but you won the lottery. He's like, dude, you still make. And he goes, John, you know what it does? He goes, the extra $650 a week makes it so that I don't have to worry and I don't have to take extra shifts so I can coach my son's little league. He goes, that's really all
that's it. That reminds me, and I hadn't thought of this. One of my early bosses in college, I worked a carpet job in a 900-degree heat of New York, right? And this guy, he told me he won one of the first lotteries, like in 1964 or whatever, 62. And it wasn't that much yet. And as soon as he won, all he did was get people calling him and asking him for money, family members,
Yep.
friends. He had to change his phone number. People saying, "Oh, do you want a business?" People want to do business with him. Financial advisors. He goes, "Oh my God, I'll never play the lotto again."
Yeah. It's funny because when the lottery was up to like $1 billion last year,
I will play that.
Yeah, we
Might as well.
we do a pool at work. Everybody puts in like $10, and believe me, I joined that because my biggest fear is the one guy who didn't put in, and I got to work
Oh
while
yeah.
everybody else in my crew is retiring. You know what I mean?
I'm jealous of you that you have a crew. I miss it being in a crew.
And money can't solve all the problems. You're absolutely right, but it can solve a lot of them. So
No, it doesn't. I know very successful people, and they ended up doing very bad.
oh, I know
Ended up
people whose
terrible.
lives got destroyed when they got money.
I know my brother-in-law. He's the best person I knew, and my wife's not here, so I'll say it. And he had $1 million business insurance like health insurance, car insurance with another guy, and just tremendously successful, hardest working guy. 6 years old, just built like a superhero. He took his own life. There's not really a day or two. I don't think when like the his score stuff happened. Oh, that was very sad.
that is
I just can't believe it. I was in shock that whole time.
Well, my wife and I,
Um,
we started practicing. I was like, okay, if we win the lottery, this is what we do. I said, we get one phone call. You call me, I call you. So we go home. We don't tell nobody. I said, we keep working our jobs until the money comes in because there can always be a problem. I go, and then the second thing we do is we go down to City Hall and we legally change our name. So like when the name gets leaked out into the press, they're going to be like, wow, that Oscar and Maureen Lipschitz, they look just like you, John and Eleanor. I'm like, oh, yeah. Wouldn't it be great if we actually, we don't tell, because I got 7 brothers and sisters. My family's going to be fighting, I'm going to have relatives that told me to F off over politics showing up at my door. So we don't tell nobody, but there will be signs, Oh,
oh, that's so funny.
Change the name.
Were you in the lotto, and you'll be an editor. You'll be Jim Shooter Jr., and you'll have 5 or 6 comics going. And you'll have me and Vaughn and everybody you can think of. Everybody. Renzo, you're set for, you'll be drawing comics forever.
Yeah. Well, I have a couple other ideas for comics. Renzo's drawing the superheroes. He's heroic tales. I got a horror western I want to do. I got a mythological story I want to do. I'd love to hire Nick Axe to do this mythological story.
Oh yeah, I wonder how expensive.
What a good art. He's drawing Crom the Destroyer for RJ of the Fourth Age. He's perfect.
Just steal all of RJ's artists. That's a good idea.
And then I have a project that would be perfect for Oscar.
Yeah,
have you seen Oscar's artwork? Oscar, if he's still in the chat,
that one, that pinup that he did, isn't that the one that you put on Twitter?
Yeah, he did. Because I didn't know he could draw. I knew him as a colorist.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
And I didn't know that Kelsey Shannon started as a colorist. I didn't know that.
No, that I knew. That I knew. Kelsey, boy, what a good guy he is. Sometimes though, I have so much knowledge of comics, and he gets so much of it wrong. And I'm like, no, Kelsey, that's not right.
It's funny because for those of you who don't know, Kelsey and I do a show called Two Beards, One Comic, and we did the Jim Starlin Warlocks, and now we're doing a Marvel Secret Wars. What I like about it is he hasn't read these yet, so
yeah, that's amazing, right?
And he reads them 2 or 3 hours before we go live, so these are his fresh. Like next Tuesday we're doing 3 and 4. He hasn't read them yet.
I have to look at those again. I'm fascinated because I felt like Marvel's, and I'll say this in the chat maybe, I felt that Secret Wars, like you guys were saying like it was started off really strong. And Jim Shooter really knows how to tell a story. But he micromanaged that thing that John B. the Inker had a breakdown during it.
Oh, really?
And Mike Zeck they had to redraw a lot of panels because Shooter likes a lot of comics told from the medium shot and a long shot. So you always have a lot of establishing shots. and not a lot of like zoom ins, and and I think it drove him nuts. And then, so they ended up to be on deadline the whole time. They shouldn't have been, because he was fussing with the comic, because it was really his baby. I didn't ask him about that. I didn't talk to him about Secret. What was it's a huge it's a huge success, and it set Mike, Zach, and John Beatty up basically for the rest of their lives. They got Zach didn't have to work. They didn't that money. It still comes in. I loved it, and for all the reasons, Jay. But you'll see like different inkers, and I just wonder how that's going to be going forward. Secret Wars 2 is a disaster. So.
Secret Wars 2 was the first time I ever hate bought something.
Yeah, Secret Wars 2 was rough. And it's such first cover by Byrne was great though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was so bad. Like I was like,
so bad.
I was like, could this get any worse? Now I wonder, like, I was talking before about art through adversary, how like sometimes a problem will force, like, we could all agree that the first Star Wars movie was a masterpiece, but it wasn't what George Lucas wanted to do. And the more I learn about it, the more I'm realizing that it was his partner that we kind of just lost, that had a lot to do.
Mm-hmm.
But he wanted to do these things. He couldn't do it. So like that movie was a compromise. And my character in issue 3 was a compromise. So I'm wondering, was Secret Wars 2 an example of, like George Lucas got to do whatever he wanted, so nobody called him?
I think so. I think that's a good point. I think that's a good point. There's some things that Shooter like to do, that like in like the new universe. And then he tells stories, because there's an 8-hour interview with him out there on the YouTube. Comic Historians did, and he tells stories about like the new universe type of thing. And he had a ton of money for the new universe, and he had Simonson design the costume, a lot of stuff, and he had all the top guys ready to work on it. And then all the money got pulled out from him, and he's got to get all starting writers, starting artists, and it's a completely different thing. And I think like Secret Wars 2 is the same thing. Who did he really want to do the artwork for that? Was it Sal Buscema? Was it John? It ends up being Al Milgrom, that ruins his reputation. So I wonder I don't know what the backstory of Secret Wars 2 is.
Yeah. But to answer Zach's question, no, that was not the Captain America as a Hydra agent. God. The Captain America as a Hydra agent, was that around 2017, right?
Yeah, a little earlier, yeah.
Yes, that was Nick Spencer was the writer.
Yeah, I was really insulted by that.
I didn't read that series. That was after I broke up with Marvel, and like I keep saying, once I break up with a girl, I'm not calling that girl.
We broke up. Free comic day thing. I was at in Greenville, South Carolina, and I would buy those. And the artwork looked great. I mean, it was superb artwork. But I was insulted by that, and that's like really told you what Marvel really wanted to do and how much they didn't like. Like the DC doesn't like Superman, and Marvel doesn't like Captain America, and you know why?
Yeah.
They're like the upstanding guys that they don't want the upstanding guys.
So Secret Wars. Do you remember what year Secret War was? Was that 1984? Yeah, and Secret Wars 2 was 85 or 86?
85 or 86. Yeah, I was still in college.
Yeah. So what Zach Dan's talking about was like 2016 or thereabouts.
What made Secret Wars 2 worse, stuff like Watchmen was coming out, and Dark Knight, and Longbow Hunters. And
Squadron Supreme.
Right, Squadron Supreme. So I just reread Squadron Supreme not that long ago. That's another one to talk to Kelsey about. Even with the different artists on it. That was a terrific comic. Because Watchmen before Watchmen.
So you're absolutely right. There was all of these great, legendary comics, and then Secret Wars 2. Secret Wars 2. I'm sorry, Jim. You've been on my channel, but that was just so bad.
Well, and Secret Wars 1. I mean, it was done exactly what it was supposed to. It was there to create a toy line.
Right.
And that's what it did. For every kid who was 10, 12 years old said, "This is the most awesome thing I've ever seen."
It had no right to be as good as it did. Same with Micronauts.
Micronauts. That's just Micronauts ROM. Those are good comics.
Yeah, it's funny that those toy tie-in comics were so good, and I reread ROM and I reread the Micronauts maybe 6 or 7 years ago. They still held up.
And Bill Mantlo wasn't even known to be that great a writer. In fact, he would pinch stories previously and rushed stuff out, but he worked on those. He did a terrific job. God bless him. You know, Michael Goldman. I mean, you know, there's some Star Wars stuff in it and all, but
Yeah, yeah. I keep saying to Kelsey that I want after Secret Wars, I'd like to do Micronauts, but he wants to pick a series. So fair is fair. I picked the first two. So
well, it'll be something you didn't read, or is it something you? Well, there's nothing you didn't read. Maybe some Marvel stuff.
Marvel stuff, but DC stuff before 1985. There's a pretty solid.
I'm the same as you. Like in the 70s, I would have Superman and Batman comics because I was a kid. I would have Superman and Batman. Everybody had Justice League. I remember having super spectaculars and stuff. But when I started really making the decisions to buy the comics, I didn't buy DC till about till Crisis, right before Crisis. I started working at Heroes World, and the guys who worked there said, you got to pick up Batman. It's really good. Pat Broderick was drawing it at the time. You got to pick up this, and there are DC Comics right after about 84, when I went to college, 84, 85. I don't have too many earlier than that. I kind of regret that. Some of those look pretty good. Now they all look good, you know, compared to what they all put out today.
So let me ask people in the chat, what format is your favorite? Or platformer, excuse me, Fund My Comic, Kickstarter, Indiegogo. What are your favorites and why? Like, do you have preferences? Because again, I don't have a preference. Well, I do have a preference. Fund My Comic is my favorite. I mean, I after being on the phone panicking with Luke, and he solved everything, and you know, I had maybe telling too much about, but I mistakenly put the website. When you make a campaign, they give you a slot. Put it in your website so it'll automatically built in. So people, but I don't have a website, so I just put YouTube, John's Log, but it got cut off, so it just said YouTube. So when people got billed, it said YouTube. So a couple of people thought it was fraudulent, so they canceled it, and then that caused the problem with Stripe, and Stripe was going to cancel my account. And Luke talked to him. Me and Luke were on the phone for hours, and they fixed it all. You know. Indigo, that would have been a death knell. If I started my campaign on Kickstarter, I would be dead right now. The campaign would be over.
Right.
There's no recovering from that. You know, so that's why Fund My Comic is my favorite, because it's as far as platforms can go, it's simple to use. I mean, yes, it's new, but the guy is a good guy. Luke is a good guy. But let me ask you guys in the chat, 52 people watching. What platforms do you avoid like the plague? What's your favorite, or do you have no preference like me? Like, I understand John Malin, I understand EVS, you know, at that it makes sense. Once you got burnt, you're not gonna stick your hand in the fire again. I don't, and let's be clear, I don't consider canceling people. If they don't like that platform, they have a bad history with that platform. And if they don't want to promote that platform, that's totally within their rights. You know, they don't owe us anything. People got to get this out of their head that other people owe them anything. Nobody owes me anything. If anything that I get, thank you very much. You were nice to me.
That's all they ask. And other people aren't acting on it. What you just said is all they ask.
Right. You know, like I said, I told EVS to his face, I got no problems with you. What you're doing is logical and consistent to yourself. I don't have any preference, but some people have different cover art on different platforms. So, yes, I wanted to use all three platforms because, you know, I never did a campaign before. I want to see which is the right one for me. You know, it's an experiment. Also, you know, I was hearing rumors that some people won't go to Fund My Comic, and I can't afford not to get every penny. So and then I said I want to do something to reward and make people, like, if somebody's like, oh, he's on Fund My Comic, why should I go on Kickstarter? Well, I have different covers on Kickstarter. You know, I'm gonna have a different cover on Indiegogo. That's it.
There was also a time where to do on two different, you had to make the campaign different. I know
right.
Between Indigo, at some point, I don't think you have to anymore. So that's one of the reasons why people did that.
Right.
I find Indiegogo the easiest for me to navigate. I'm not used to the search on Fund My Comic, but I don't use it as much. But I don't, between the two of those, I don't care. And if Kickstarter took my money up front, then I'd be fine with Kickstarter.
Yeah, that's.
I think I like Fund Comic made some changes. I like Fund My Comic. I like the idea of it. I think that we got to get them bigger. I mean, you're doing really well on it, I think. You know,
I find Indiegogo to be the most difficult to navigate.
Yeah. Well, I'm just used to it. You know.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. I think that Indiegogo. Well, they started shadow banning, and it makes it impossible to find anything.
Right.
And I'm sitting here like having to post links, not just for you, but for other people, and trying to find some of these campaigns are very difficult to do. Nobody knows why they do it. That's the biggest thing, and that's why my comic is it.
That's why. That's one thing to me that I questioned why some people are so loyal to Indiegogo even after they were shadow banned.
They're afraid. Well, Graham Nolan doesn't want to do it because he doesn't care. He's like, that's what I'm using instead of making my own platform. You'll go where I want you to go. Of course, he's Graham Nolan. But, he's got the biggest name.
Right. That's the example of I'll go where the burger's good.
You'll just go. Yeah, he'll just, I think the bigger guys are afraid not to make $100,000. Not like, I think that's how I feel about Andy. Now he says he's thinking about it. I used to ask him, and he was like, well, he doesn't see. The feeling is that the Indiegogo people and the Fund My Comic people are the same people. Like it's a similar fan, the non Fund My Comic fan. The non Kickstarter fan. You know what I'm saying? The real difference between Kickstarter people and Indiegogo and Fund My Comic people. So they don't see the benefit. But I think they're going to start doing something on those platforms. EBS says he's going to do links on it.
I'm putting up the Fund My Comic just to remind everybody that this is still up and available, and you can only get the Pat Broderick cover on Fund My Comic. The Kickstarter has a couple of extras because I listened to what people wanted. They said they wanted black and white cover. I gave them black and white cover. A few people, they wanted that back cover as the front cover. I love that image. So, but the only question is, what am I going to put on the back cover now? Am I going to put the front cover on the back cover? I was thinking of just keeping the back cover, clean, no dressing on the back cover. You know what I mean?
I just got Clint's book, and that's a fun book. Well, but I don't like him having an ad on the back, inside back cover.
Yeah. So, well, I've been talking for 2 hours, and my throat is really starting to kill me. So I think I'm going to shut down now. Let's take a look, see who's on YouTube right now. See, I'm going to my YouTube tab. Okay, we got Vaughn Coleman. He's playing a video game. We got we got the Friday nights. Yeah. So Mad Ruth. Let's go to the Mad Ruth channel, MADRUTH, and let's raid them. Let's give them, because they were really. I was on that channel, and a bunch of 12 people backed my comic from them. So let's go on the Friday nights and give them a Bogan raid to steal from Michael Bancroft. So I'm going to go over to. I'm shutting this down. I'm going to go to Mad Ruth. So type that into your YouTube bar, and let's just be pests. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. I'm going to be tweeting and whatever it is, putting out my links all night. And if you guys wouldn't mind helping me, because this is Kickstarter, I got to make it to 1,000, otherwise nothing happens. You know what I mean? So I got to hit the 1,000. So and another secret how the sausage is made. If I hit the 1,000, I broke an even. I broke even on.
All right.
So that's my personal goal. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye bye.
Thanks for having me on, Sean.
Oh, no problem. Bye bye.